What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It's Friday afternoon here in Philly, Ohio. It's raining quite a bit. Still, I'm hanging out in the shed, relaxing. Going to check out one of the beers I picked up while I was on my road trip up to Bowling Green yesterday. You know, as I mentioned, I went into Bowling Green Beer Works. I picked up had a beer there and grabbed a 4-pack of beers to go. One of the ones I grabbed is this Black Elderberry Saison. So that's kind of an interesting style there. I couldn't find a lot of information on this beer. I went to Untappd and Beer Advocate, and it's not on either of them, so I'm assuming it's a relatively new release. I went in to do a little research on Saison. Saison's a style, you see them around, but you don't see them that frequently. To me, they're kind of hit or miss. Sometimes, when they're done well, they're really good. When they mess them up, they tend to be overly carbonated and somewhat of a mess. So, you know, I went and did a little bit of homework and learned a little bit more about Saisons. It looks like they started in the French-speaking Wallonia region of Belgium. And basically they were beers that were created during the cooler months. They kind of saved them for the summer. Traditionally, they're fruity, lower ABVs, although over time, like many, many other alcoholic beverages, the ABV's gone up a bit. So this one comes in at 6.5% ABV. And 10 IBUs, so obviously very light on the bitterness scale there. Like I said, I went into Bowling Green Beer Works, and one thing I thought was really cool, they had some coasters, so I grabbed one. I know a lot of people pick up coasters or beer mats, as they call them in other countries. A lot of times they actually have stickers there for sale, so you have the regular brewery stickers, but one thing I think is pretty cool is sometimes they'll sell the labels that they put on the cans, right? So this is Burning Couch. I think this might have been one of the first beers I ever reviewed from them, and I posted kind of a comment about what's the Burning Couch about. There's got to be a story, and several folks from BG decided to fill me in on, back in the day. Someone actually sent me a newspaper article. I think it was back in the 80s or something. They had a huge rager, and people were burning their couches out on the front porches, and some of the porches caught on fire, and I guess it's kind of an iconic moment in partying history in BG. But they actually had these sitting out with a little, they were sitting inside of a bottle, or not a bottle, a glass, and were marked free. So from time to time, I actually try to peel the labels off if there's some kind of image that I really like. So a while back, I did them ones from, I forget what it's called, Beaver or something or other brewing from Pennsylvania. They did a Zap Rousdower one based on Mystery Science Theater 3000, so I peeled that off. Sometimes you can take them off real easy. Sometimes it's just not going to happen. But it's nice to see this because it's nice and nice and clean. It's not going to be all picked away at the edges and everything. So I'll probably cut this down a little bit, maybe get rid of some of the edges and throw this up on the beer fridge. But thanks. It's a cool idea. It's cool that they're sharing the extras, I guess, with the customers. All right. Anyway, let's get on to this beer. Like I said, Black Elderberry Saison sounds pretty good. Let's check out this farmhouse. I'm going with the BG Beer Works glass. I picked this up, I don't know, maybe a year ago when I went out there. All right. Color. Kind of has a nice golden color. Tons of carbonation. You see bubbles going everywhere in there. It almost looks like a champagne, right? And of course, that's kind of what you should see in this style, a lot of carbonation. The head, it's probably at least a thumb's width there, probably a little bit more than my meaty thumb. And that looks like a nice white frothy head. You can see it kind of break it apart when it does a little islands thing, right? It starts to break apart, but it looks pretty decent. Let's give it a whiff. That happens about once a week, I think. I sniff in the beer. It's kind of got a light berry smell. That's about it. Not too strong of a smell. Not that you'd expect it to be a huge smell, but a lot of times fruity beers, sometimes the nose comes through a little stronger. It's kind of interesting. I'm a fan of berries in general, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, whatever. But I can't say I've ever eaten an elderberry on its own. I've had elderberry flavored teas and candies and different stuff. But it almost kind of smells like, kind of like a blackberry. Maybe a little bit different, but similar to a blackberry. That's a nice smell. Let's give it a shot, see what it's like. First thing I think you notice, light bodied, but you can definitely pick up the ton of carbonation there. You kind of get that effervescence when you drink it. But I don't think it's not over the top. It's not so effervescent that it kind of ruins the beer, but it tastes good. As of the flavor, you pick up the berry. It's kind of an interesting taste because there's like a little bit of sweetness to it, but also a little bit of bitterness to the berry. So it's a really nice and unique flavor. A lot of times with the other berries, they tend to be a little too sweet. And I think this kind of counterbalances a little. So you have the sweetness, but you also have that little bit of bitterness as well. As far as the hops, you really can't pick up anything. Like I said, 10 IBUs. Wasn't really expecting it to. This is like a nice, refreshing summer beer. 6.5 ABV. Not that it's overly high, but you don't pick up ABV at all. I think, honestly, for me, it has to be up near maybe 9 or 10 before I really start to notice it. But, you know, for some people, the lower, even around 6s or 7s, maybe it's a little too much. But I don't think you pick it up whatsoever. To me, it's kind of like light grain and then the berry, and that's kind of it. But I think the one thing that kind of makes it a little bit different is you pick up that effervescence throughout. So even though you're getting, you know, the taste of the fruit and the malt, the effervescence kind of changes it up, so you feel it like in your mouth, you kind of feel the bubbles. To me, it's kind of like, I don't know, if when you were a kid, you have Pop Rocks or these other kind of candies where you have like the fruit taste, but then you also have that kind of the explosion or the dynamic aspect of the candy. You kind of get that with this farmhouse ale. All in all, though, I think it's a really good effort. I'm interested to see how other people, review it or what they think of it when it pops up on Untapped or Beer Advocate. But for me, it would be a thumbs up. The Black Elderberry Saison from Bowling Green Beer Works I would definitely drink another one of these for sure. So if you like the videos, please give me a thumbs up, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, you got any comments or questions, jump in down below. If you've been to BG Beer Works or had this beer, let me know what you think of it. Hey, hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Until next time, cheers.